With my previous video, I theorized that when people are offended by criticism from someone that they lack the courage to confront, they often look for so-called co-signers to unleash their frustration upon. I suggested that this dynamic is responsible for Christians often being accused of homophobia. In retrospect, I realized that that point may have seemed to come out of nowhere, so I hope to add some context with this video. One instance of a professed Christian being attacked for presumably co-signing homophobia was with actor Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt is unbelievably talented, but the dude doesn't have the politics of Hollywood.
Correct.
He's a Christian man.
I think he goes to a church that is publicly anti-LGBT.
That's all church.
All that.
That's Jesus.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
Christianity. That's Islam.
They're just
that's
louder
Judaism.
about it.
Also, the thing with Chris Pratt is annoying is I don't think the church did anything anti-gay. Like it's like a trendy like LA church. The other thing that they're going after him for is that he didn't endorse Biden.
All he did was express how much he loves his church, and that was enough to inspire the ire of actress Ellen Page.
She was out here like, oh, I can't support because his church is anti-LGBT. It's like, yo, just call him, ask him how he feels, have a conversation with him, and then maybe you don't even know as much about that church as you think you do.
Even if you think he hates, but he doesn't talk about it, you're going to crucify this man because you think he privately has anti-something views? It's just a wild leap to take.
Pratt defended himself and his church against the suspicions of homophobia. Sometime later, Marvel decided to make his character bisexual.
Guardians of the Galaxy comic confirms Star-Lord is bisexual. Now, they're telling you why they did it because they keep showing Chris Pratt. This is not coming from the MCU. This was what happened in the recent Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, because I got Guardians of the Galaxy 5 still trying to get caught up on. I believe this happened in 9 where, he was with some dude and some chick basically talking as if he's bisexual. Now, y'all need to understand why they did this. Why did they pick Star-Lord? The actor who plays him, and Chris Pratt, is different. You know that he has conservative slant. He doesn't lead with politics. Really, his MCU colleagues, they wear the politics on their sleeves. There's obviously a general idea that Chris Pratt is not one of us. That's why that whole thing even happened. He's not one of us. He doesn't want to support Joe Biden. He is different from what it is that we are. The one guy that is not among their religious cult is the character that they choose to turn bisexual, especially considering that if there is one thing that Chris Pratt leads with, it's his faith. They specifically picked this character for a reason. What if this uber Christian guy that's not one of us, what if we make his character bi? This was not done by accident. This man all of a sudden is just bisexual out of nowhere. Makes no sense. They don't even try to make it make sense. It's because what they did it for was purely agenda.
My sister recounted a conversation with a college classmate who identified as gay. When the topic of Christianity was brought up, the classmate stated that she could not practice a religion that was so disapproving of her lifestyle. Now, her assertion that homosexuality is condemned in Christianity is true. Her insinuation that heterosexuals face no judgment in Christianity is false. No one is wholly affirmed by the word, but rather we are humbled by it. His laws don't show us how strong we are, but rather how weak we are. His commands don't show us how righteous we are, but rather how wrong we are. The wage of sin is death, and human nature is sinful, but because he doesn't wish that any of us should perish, he provided us with a path to salvation. So it's an unfair aspersion to suggest that Christians judge the LGBT+ community when we submit to a God who judges us all. It's even more deceptive to suggest that we are intolerant. Non-believers are as entitled to live according to their non-beliefs as we are entitled to live according to our biblical beliefs. So then, what is the most intolerant religion? I'll give you some hints. Though it's already prevalent in Western civilization, it's still growing rapidly. It's pushed heavily by many facets of popular culture and media. And the worst part, most people don't even realize that it's become a religion. The most intolerant religion is leftism. If you are a believer, consider for a moment this question. How big is God? How big of a role does he play in your life? How big is he in your worldview? Well, the God of the Bible is the Almighty Creator, so without him, we would have no world to view. He's our source of protection, grace, strength, redemption, salvation, justification. He's the ultimate judge because he's the author of justice. Even our concept of morality comes from the Most High. Imagining how big God is probably seems like a ridiculous exercise, but I think it's important because it informs us about what we face in the world. Non-believers have a God-sized void in their lives and worldviews. A common misperception about atheism is that it's a belief. It's not. It's an absence of belief. And that vast void leaves these non-believers with few options when it comes to trying to fill that emptiness. Some refuse to search for a sense of purpose. They are the nihilists. Some diminish the importance of beliefs in favor of feelings. They are the hedonists. And some try to elevate importance in the secular to dogmatic levels. They are the leftists. Now, some might question why I would single out leftists. Can't one be both a leftist and a theist? Of course. And what about the right? Why not criticize conservatives too? Well, because quite frankly, conservative values reflect religious values. Many embrace conservative politics because they themselves are religious, while many embrace liberal politics because they themselves are not. Now, for decades, Black Americans have been an exception to this rule. But make no mistake, the left has been slowly pulling us away from our faith. Leftism is the religion of the left. The Democratic Party is their church. Municipal buildings are their holy temples. Celebrities are their apostles, and their politicians are their idols. Now, if this message sounds like right-wing propaganda, let me be clear. It's possible to make a religion out of conservatism too. If you're a true believer, your faith should come first, your loved ones second, and politics should come no higher than a third priority. I expect this notion to be a recurring theme in future videos. Until then, gather facts, gain knowledge, get truth.